is not uncommon for farms across central Illinois to be passed from one generation to the next.
Yeah, it's quite the legacy, but how is it done in today's times? Happening in the community, it's the Champaign County Farm Bureau. They're helping farmers keep it in the family, and we have manager Brad Yukin here with more details. So this is an interesting topic, one that I wouldn't think would be that difficult, but maybe it is.
Absolutely. There is a lot of challenges when you talk about passing that family business, that small business on from one generation to the next. And that could be the generation that's involved in the farming or just keeping it in the family farm and passing it on to that generation that maybe wants to keep that heritage.
Now, is this something that there are uniquenesses to the farm, or would these principles sort of be the same no matter what business you're wanting to?
Well, it's really small businesses. It would apply to a lot of small businesses, but there just seems to be a lot of moving parts with it. You may have the land, you may have farm equipment, you may have seed that's still at the elevator that may be unsold. All those things kind of factor into an estate that at some point could be passed on to that next generation.
So what do families need to know? Well,
we're doing an event on February 26th at the Hotel, starting at 5 o'clock, and we're going to talk a little bit. We're bringing in Dr. Ron Hansen, and this is in conjunction with the Illinois Farm Bureau and Country Financial. But we'll be there at the Hotel. He's from Nebraska, so you know he's more than 30 miles from his home, so he's an expert, right? That's right. Always the old joke. Yeah. So he's going to be there, and he's going to talk about a whole wide variety of scenarios and things you need to talk about with your family as you're putting together your estate plan to keep that family or farm in the family.
Now, I would assume this could happen in retirement, could happen because of a death, it could happen because of all sorts of reasons. Are there things that I would assume, this is some of what you'll talk about, you probably don't have time to do it all here, that we need to be thinking about well in advance to be planning for?
Right, absolutely. There's considerations to think about, especially if you've got a family member that's farming it now. If you're retired and you have a son that's involved or a daughter, but then what about the kids that are not involved in that farming operation? How do you make sure that you're considering their needs and their desires versus the one that wants to keep making a living from farming? So it's things like that. There's tax issues that you need to think about, and so there is a whole host of questions, and that's what Dr. Hansen's going to talk about. He's going to talk about some of the questions that you, as the owner, as that husband and wife, need to think about as you start to prepare your estate and how you want to move on to the next generation. But the big thing I can tell you, Dr. Hansen wants to make sure, he wants to make sure you're leaving that farm in the family, and that's your intention. He wants to help you get there.
Nice. I mean, sure, it's a tough road to navigate there at
Well,
times.
it is, and again, you have to think about, because every farming operation is a little bit different. Some own most of their ground that they farm, some do a lot of cash rent, and so that changes some scenarios. Again, some have kids involved that are farming with the parents. Other farming operations, there may be no kids involved farming.
So coming up here later, we're having Miss Illinois County Fair Queen, and one of her top 15 questions was, what was it, do you believe nuts. Something about hemp fields taking over in Illinois now.
Replacing some of what we have now.
What are your thoughts, Miss Illinois?
My thoughts are is that we will see hemp, and we've seen hemp being grown in Illinois, but I'm not sure we're going to displace a lot of corn and soybeans in East Central Illinois. But I just read a story, there's been overproduction of hemp and not enough demand for it, and so the market has gone down, not tanked per se, but it's not as strong as what it had hoped for those that grew it.
Those
I bet
lines
that's
on Neal Street.
Right? I bet that's what Kelsey said, Miss Illinois County Fair Queen, when she was asked that question.
Thank you for being willing to be put on the spot, Brett.
No,
we appreciate it.
You made it to the next round.
Yes, that's right.
Your crown awaits you. We will get you all the details about the upcoming symposium/conference on our Facebook page. You can see some of the details there on your screen.